So today we're thrilled to welcome a Special Olympics International Global Messenger, a talented athlete, television personality to our conference. Victoria Arlen hosts and reports across all different platforms at ESPN, including Sports Center, college football, and Special Olympics. She's also an accomplished motivational speaker, gold medal winning swimmer, author, and television host. And I got to meet her. She's absolutely lovely. So great round of applause for Victoria Arlen.
Thank you. Can we give it up for Teresa one more time, please? Yeah. I'm not going to lie, I immediately noticed the Canadian jerseys and I was like, hi, those are cool. Anyways, thank you everyone. I'm Victoria. First and foremost, I want to thank everyone here. So I want to give a round of applause to all of you. You can do way better for that. Everyone needs to clap a little louder for themselves, yeah. So I'm a little nervous. I don't get to speak in front of audiences like this that really inspire me and empower me and excite me. So bear with me here. We're going a little rogue. But first and foremost, I want to thank Joe and Lisa. Can we give it up for them? They're the minds behind this. And fun fact, this is how I got brought into the LETR world through Joe in Turin this past winter, and it wasn't a meeting. There we are, right there. We were running the Connecticut torch run, but it was we were rehearsing for our opening ceremonies for the World Games, and all of a sudden, this man in a uniform walks up to me, shakes my hand, and gives me a coin. You guys know the significance of coins. I know them as well. And all of a sudden, I start bawling my eyes out in the middle of a rehearsal to the point where my producer's like, is everything okay? And I'm like, yeah, this officer came up to me, or he was in a uniform, he gave me a coin, but like, he disappeared into the night. It was dark in the stadium. And after that, I reached out to Amy Wise, and we're like, I need to find this strange man who gave me a coin so I can thank him, but also figure out what just happened. And then from there, I coined him back with an ESPN coin, and I immediately was welcomed into the LETR family, and it's quite the honor to be here and be able to speak to all of you as well. I was really going back and forth on how I was going to talk about this, because what's crazy is last night I found actually a photo. I did the torch relay 10 years ago at ESPN when it came to ESPN, and you're probably noticing something a little different. I'm in a wheelchair in that photo. So let me give you a little bit of a backstory of how I was in a chair and now I'm not in a chair. It's because when I was little, when I was 11, I developed two incredibly rare neurological conditions. So I'm not even supposed to be here technically. I don't think in the small print the doctors realized that a lost cause, there's no such thing. But I developed, yeah. But I developed these two incredibly rare neurological conditions that attacked my brain and spinal cord and basically left my parents with two decisions: plan a funeral or put her away in a special home because she's never going to come back to normal. I'll let you in on a secret. There's no such thing as normal, and if there is, it's boring. Just saying. Just saying. And so for 4 years, I'm in this comatose vegetative state where my parents are essentially fighting for me, fighting to take care of me, while doctors are literally telling them she's not going to amount to anything. She's never going to come out of this. And what they didn't realize is I was aware the whole time. So for 4 years, I was trapped inside my own body, hearing these doctors write me off and hearing in the next breath my parents saying, well, we're still going to love her anyways. We're going to take care of her anyways. Because that's what you do with your loved ones. You don't give up on the people that you love. And so for 4 years, I was inspired by my family that then literally, by the grace of God, I started blinking on demand. And that's literally how I started coming back to life in 2010. So for 4 years, I come out of this, and the doctors are still being the negative Nellies that they decided to be. But I started learning how to talk again, learning how to move again, learning how to just function in a world that, I was unfamiliar with because now I was in a wheelchair. But it didn't stop me. I didn't have a family that let it stop me. They didn't let me be on the sidelines for long. And before I knew it, I was back into sports, and I had a job at ESPN, and I got my very first television opportunity covering Special Olympics in 2015 at the World Games in Los Angeles. So yes. And as much as as much as I want to, talk about that story, there's a way bigger story amongst all of this. I will preface it that I ended up, after spending 10 years in a wheelchair, through a lot of hard work, started walking again. And that didn't really stop me because I still wanted to use my voice to help others, use my voice to give other people a platform too. And that's what I found when I started covering Special Olympics. We talk about the flame of hope. We talk about those flicker moments, or as John said, the dash. And for me, as I'm having these incredible opportunities at ESPN, I'm now walking, I'm living my life, I also was hit with this incredible case of PTSD from what had happened. But because I was so accomplished and I had to be on television, I had to be all these beings, I really wasn't allowed to have a bad day. And I'm sure a lot of you have to put on your brave face every single day. I didn't have much of a brave face left, and I was really struggling through most of my 20s to try to go be what these people wanted me to be, which was this miracle, but at the same time, not really understanding why I was feeling so anxious, why I was feeling so depressed, and not really knowing why or where that would go. And I think a lot of times we have to put on our character every single day. And as I spent more time searching and trying to find my why, I found Special Olympics beyond ESPN. I found that I was able to get involved, and I ended up becoming a global ambassador, which, fun fact, my parents still to this day say out of all the things I've achieved, all the titles I have, being a global ambassador for Special Olympics is by far the coolest title I have, and the coolest thing they get to tell people about. So I agree with them. But when I was trying to figure out what to talk about today in 20 minutes, because look, when you can't talk for 4 years, you're making up for lost time over and over and over again. Or as my family said, you found a way to become a professional talker. I did, and I have the microphone right now. But I wanted to, especially with this group, I didn't want to harp on my story from when I was younger. I wanted to harp on something that I think we all get affected by. We all have moments of doubt. We all have moments of depression, anxiety, or unsure about what we're doing or why we're doing, or as I say, sometimes you're just crying at a shoe because you're that overwhelmed and you need to figure it out. And I want to share with you about a why moment for me. I've been very fortunate to cover Special Olympics for 10 years. So there's been so many why moments and so many moments where I was able to give an athlete a voice, give them a microphone, share their story, and by far it impacted me far more than I think it impacted them or anyone else. But I wanted to talk about how there is so much, you never know what people are going through. And so I'll go back to Berlin. And I'm sitting there and we're preparing for the broadcast, we're preparing for all these different events, and it was opening ceremonies. And so I was told, okay, you're gonna walk with a delegation, and I'm in the tunnel. And I had a day where I was just overwhelmed and really stressed, and I was really just anxious, and I couldn't shake that feeling. And all of a sudden, I'm in this tunnel, and I am paralyzed with anxiety. But at this point, nobody knew I was dealing with anxiety, so I would hide behind a smile, and I would just kind of put on my I can do it face and move forward, because I didn't think I was allowed to have a bad day. I didn't think I was allowed to be anxious. And as I'm in this tunnel, I'm like paralyzed with anxiety. I'm literally texting my mom and telling her, I can't do this. I can't even, as I'm talking about, I'm shaking. I couldn't even get out of my own way. And have you ever had one of those moments where you just feel stuck? And I'm stuck in this tunnel, which is more of a metaphor than anything, but I'm literally in a tunnel. And I get paired with New Zealand, and I don't know anyone. I've been separated from my group. I've been separated from anyone that I know. And so I'm just kind of standing there like this, and I'm trying to, but on the inside, I'm like, I don't got this. And I'm looking for an escape route. Like, I'm really just looking. I need to go. I shouldn't be here. I don't belong here. I don't know what I'm doing. Why am I even here? And all of a sudden, this athlete comes up to me, and he says to me, he goes, this is so exciting. It's opening ceremonies. And I'm like, yes, it is very exciting. I'm very excited about opening ceremonies. And he was like, what's wrong? All day, not a single person had asked me what was wrong or how I was doing. And I'm like, in this moment, this flash of a moment, I'm like, I can either lie and tell the typical thing that we tell everyone when we're having a bad day. Oh, everything's great. I'm good. I'm fine. I'm okay. And in that moment, I didn't even have that in me. And I just said, I was like, I'm really anxious right now. I'm not having a great day. And he looked at me and he goes, I get anxious too. And I was like, oh, so you understand? And he goes, yeah. He goes, but that's okay. You just have to be brave. And I'm sitting there and I'm having this moment. I'm like, I'm not feeling very brave right now. And I'm standing there and he just looks at me, tilts his head, and he goes, that's okay. I am. Come on, we'll go be brave together. And he reaches out his hand. Yeah. He reaches out his hand and he grabs mine. And in that moment, he's just like, come on, let's go be brave. Even if you don't feel like it, I'm brave. I'll be brave with you. So we go out, we get ready in the tunnel, and he's holding my hand, and he's just checking in on me. He's looking at me and smiling, and he's like, it's okay. I get nervous too. It's okay. He keeps reassuring me. Then all of a sudden, this like paralyzing anxiety I'd been feeling all day, that I had to be on a camera, pretend everything was fine, and be in front of everyone else and pretend everything was fine, finally just lifted. Because I was seen for the first time. I was seen in that moment, and then I wasn't judged. I wasn't told, hey, we don't have time for this, or you need to figure it out. I was just seen, and I was just loved in that moment by this athlete. So we walk out, and he's like, come on, you just gotta wave. Everyone's cheering for you. They're cheering for us. Let's be brave, like let's go out there. And so we go out, and all of a sudden I find myself waving and smiling, and like everything I had felt that was just trapping me just was getting let go. And he didn't let go of my hand. I think we have the video of it. Yeah, I think we have that video. Yeah, he didn't let go of my hand the whole time. He held my hand. And then afterwards, we get separated because they have to go sit. He didn't hold, see, that's a firm handshake right there. Mm-hmm. And that was a genuine smile from me. Yeah. And what was interesting is in that moment we get separated. I didn't even know his name. He didn't have to introduce himself. He just saw something in me that he recognized in himself and said, hey, I'm gonna go be there for her. So we get separated, they go and sit with their delegation, and I go to my area, and I go up to Chris Bentz, and I'm like bawling but happy. So you're kind of doing I'm just having a great time. And I go up, I couldn't even talk, and then I'm like, I get it. This whole time we've been talking about this inclusion revolution. We've been telling people choose to include. It's the other way around. These athletes choose to include us. These athletes teach us, yes. These athletes teach us that we can live in a world where there's no judgment. We can live in a world that if we're not feeling brave, we can grab each other's hands and be brave together. That in the midst of all of this, I learned that inclusion is not about what we can teach, it's about what we can learn. What we can learn from every single athlete, every single moment. Even so that when we get newbies at ESPN that are doing Special Olympics for the first time, I always tell them something Dustin Plunkett told me back in 2015. Sit with the athletes, talk with the athletes, let them bring you into their world, because I promise you'll never be the same. And I never knew that inclusion was so much more than just saying, oh, we gotta include, we gotta get people off the sidelines. I know what it's like to be on the sidelines. But in that moment, it didn't look like I was on the sidelines. And so many of us are on the sidelines and we were too afraid to say it. And then you have an athlete who didn't know my name, didn't even know why I was there. I was just a strange person with a ribbon on my dress, and chose to include me. And I think that's something where each and every one of us have that opportunity to not only learn, but then go pass it on to someone else. Pay attention to the people around you. You can pay attention if someone's struggling, and that's the beautiful thing about Special Olympics. I mean, I have so many stories like that, and I have so many moments where I have been left speechless, which, as my family has said, is very hard to do. I talk a lot, like a lot, as you can tell. But when he took my hand and I realized on such a bigger level that that's what Special Olympics is all about. It is sport, it is humanity in its purest form. And each and every one of you here are part of that movement. You're bringing that flame of hope around. You're encouraging other people to step in and step out of their comfort zones, even if they're not feeling brave. They feel brave when they're next to you. They feel brave when you take someone's hand or when you say, I see you. See, we think that we're doing that for athletes, but athletes are actually doing that for us. And for me, giving a microphone and giving an athlete an opportunity is a great honor and is by far one of the coolest things I get to do at ESPN. And it is the most asked I get from people at ESPN of Special Olympics, because they see those genuine moments. They see the opportunities to just give them a microphone, give them a space. We have a lot more to learn than we do to teach, and encourage others to do the same. And so for me, to be here with all of you is really an honor, because when Joe brought me in that random day when he coined me, and Lisa, and around Connecticut, getting to meet everyone, I'm just honored that I get to even have a few minutes in front of all of you, because you guys inspire me. You guys are the brave ones. You guys are the warriors that are going out there and encouraging folks to have hope, bring that flame. I am so proud to even be here and be with all of you, because you guys are such incredible hope deliverers on so many levels, but you guys also get to encourage what it means to be brave. Life is not easy, and I think we can all attest to that, and I think we can all attest for those moments where we feel trapped and we feel stuck, but we still have to show up. We still have to step outside, but you're not alone in this. And I think what Special Olympics has taught many of us is we're not alone, and just one act of kindness, as Chief has started many years ago, can have such a ripple effect. That athlete will never know the full impact that moment of just reaching out their hand did for me, but I'll never forget it in reaching my hand out for someone else. So, not that you need a reminder of it, but think about it. Keep reaching your hands out. Keep encouraging other people to be brave. Keep being inspired by the people around you. And think about, as John said, that dash and what it means to make that impact. And just listen. Have that space to just listen and be in the moment. And as I said to one of my colleagues when we were in Turin, we just started having a dance. We got invited to a dance party on the floor, and we were about to do a live hit, and they're like, "Sorry, we have to hold. Victoria's dancing. We have to wait." Yep. And then they captured that, and that was part of how we closed the show. It's like, be in that moment. This is what it's all about. So this wouldn't be possible if all of you guys didn't keep showing up and reaching your hand out and being brave. So I just wanted to say thank you to all of you as I'm landing the plane here for continuing to be that voice, continuing to be that hand that continues to encourage others, because no one deserves or belongs on the sidelines, and no one deserves or belongs in the space of being a lost cause. If it is, I'll be the poster child. You can all just join on this lovely little hot mess express that we're riding here. But I'm just surprised I didn't cry, like start bawling my eyes out, to be honest with you, when I was practicing this morning. But nonetheless, I just wanted to say thank you. Thank you for allowing me to be here today. Thank you for continuing to be encouragers of hope and that bravery, and allowing Special Olympics to continue to be so impactful, because the impact is far greater than just these athletes and them winning medals and doing incredible sporting things. It's who they are as people, getting a chance to be who they want to be, getting a chance to go out and live the life they get to live, and getting a chance to also go out and continue to inspire all of us. So if you haven't, I highly encourage you to take those times and be more in the moment. But also, I'm just excited that all of us collectively get to continue to bring that hope and be in that, and remember our why, and remember why it is we continue to show up, and remember to always reach your hand out for someone. Even if it's when you go home or wherever you are in your life, just think about reaching your hand out for someone or being that brave warrior for someone else. So I just want to say thank you so much on behalf of Special Olympics and ESPN. I mean, it is an honor of a lifetime to be able to be a part of just a small part of this movement, and an honor even more so to be in front of all of you. So I will stop rambling. Just wanted to say thank you so much, and I can't wait to see you all back in Minneapolis for the 2026 USA Games. Thank you.